here we are, Coach. Week number 2, as always, with head coach Rodney Southern of the Huntsville Hornets. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks, as always, for being here and for all that you do. Coming off, I know, a tough loss versus A&M Consolidated, but a lot of high points in that ball game, particularly the ground game was very effective. You look at a young man like Trayshawn Brown, and we'll talk more about him in a moment. Just kind of your takeaways and what really stood out in that contest on the positive side.
Well, anytime your first game and you're playing some young kids still, you find a lot of good, but you also find the mistakes, and you got to correct those. We turned the ball over too much, gave them a short field on a punt snap, but I thought our offense and defensive lines, for being inexperienced, I thought they both played pretty well. I thought we ran the ball decent. I thought we tackled pretty well. Now the mistakes, gave them 14 points or 12 points technically, and that was the difference in the ball game.
Go up against a team like A&M Consolidated. I mean, we know they're a powerhouse team. They play very effectively, but as you just said, the offensive line for Huntsville, it's an area that's vastly improved. You're seeing a lot from these young men. What's really starting to stand out this year compared to last year?
Well, I think when you walk 5 guys out there and none of them have started a varsity football game, that's your first concern. But I thought they handled, and A&M has changed philosophy defensively. They're a heavy blitz, a lot of movement, a lot of guys off the edge, and for the most part, till late in the game, the last series that Marcus played at quarterback, they pinned their ears back because they knew we had to throw the ball. But other than that, I thought our O-line held their own and created enough running lanes, and Trayshawn had 111 or 12 official yards, but had some opportunities and was just a step away from breaking a big one. So, a lot of positives, but, you don't want to lose games and learn those lessons, but sometimes that happens.
Of course, we always like to highlight the entire team. I don't kind of individualize too many folks, but when you look at a young man like a Trayshawn Brown that came in last year in limited action, had over 500 yards, and then this season as a sophomore, he's really starting to grow and learn in this program. Who do you feel maybe he's latched on to? Obviously the coaching staff, but maybe on a player side, who's really helped kind of guide him as he continues on?
Well, his brother is Juwan Giddings, who's been in our program since he was a 7th grader. So, and Trayshawn's a very mature kid for his age. Physically, he's mature, and he's learning the difference between a freshman or 8th grade level and a varsity level. But he's also extremely, extremely talented too. So, we've got a group of kids this year that, I think, and as a coach, you love to see it. They like being around each other. They like practice, and I think Trayshawn fits in this group really, really well.
Last couple of questions. You go up against this team, and just the excitement was there, the energy. You could feel that throughout the crowd. Whenever you get to this point of the season, when you're finally there, is it really just maybe a sigh of relief that we're finally playing football? The practices are over, the scrimmages, and now we're underway?
Well, I think for kids, they get tired of hitting each other. And you still got to hit each other some in practice, obviously, but you're a little more focused on scout teams and trying to figure out what, in this case now, what Bryan's going to do against us, or what they're going to try to line up in. And so I think kids get a little bit relieved. Now we had Thursday we had the bomb threat that happened here, so we ended up having to cancel our sub-varsity game. So those kids this Thursday will be their first opportunity to play. So still a lot of good stuff going on. It's still early in school, but we've already started hitting them on grades and getting ready for the 6 weeks, because it'll be here before you know it.
Looking ahead, I know, of course, you'll never give away too much, but Bryan coming up, kind of the mindset maybe heading into this game, and some areas that you guys think, hey, we could really do this if we focus on this particular area possibly.
Well, Bryan's a little different. Bryan probably had the biggest offensive line we saw last year, big physical kids. They still got a good O-line, but it's not the size. I mean, they had 4 300-pound guys last year. So, hopefully our D-line can take advantage of them not having that size. They played 2 quarterbacks the other night. They played 3 running backs, but the quarterback, number 9, the second quarterback that came in the game, I think he's the guy they really want to go to. and I think they would love to run the ball, but I think they really like, because they've got a receiver number 11, and I think the quarterback and the receiver have a pretty good chemistry, because 11's, if it's a critical situation, that's where the ball's going. So I think Coach Tullis is in his second year there, so he's probably kind of weeded out the things that he didn't like, and is kind of focused now where he wants to be offensively and defensively.
Finally, Coach, just 3 games here before we really get into the heart of the district season, these non-district matchups. Where do you kind of want to be from a head coach perspective? Obviously, you want game number 1 to be right there getting started, but when you start looking at this season, from all of your years of coaching, where do you really feel like you can really start to feel the flow of the team? Does it take 1 game? Does it take 5 games? Or does that vary from year to year?
Well, the old saying in coaching is you make your most improvement from week 1 to week 2, which, you know, sometimes I think that's true. Sometimes I think that might be coach talk. But you have a focus after you come out of your first game, win or lose, of the things you did well and kind of what your identity. You thought your identity was this, and hopefully the first game kind of proves your identity, but you get a lot of opportunity. Those 5-0 linemen, for example, played basically every snap of the game the other night, so now they should create a little bit more confidence, and then you start to build on that, and then you find out the things that your quarterbacks feel good about in your run game, you know, and then defensively, if your D-line plays well, and I thought our D-line played well, other than 1 snap the other night that we gave up the 73-yard touchdown. I mean, I thought we played well defensively and we tackled well, and you know, you build on those things, but you also want to add to your identity as you go, and that's the thing a lot of people don't understand about your however many non-district games. For us, it's 4. You got to find the things that you got to be able to be good at, because when you step into your district season, you got to be ready to go against whomever or whatever you're going to face.
Finally, Coach, just a fun question. The season's already in full swing. Is there ever maybe an hour or 2 during any part of the week, even on the weekends, that you just get to get away and not think about football?
Well, we've gotten, you know, we're pretty, especially with technology. Technology's helped the weekends a whole lot. You know, we bring our guys in, we come in early and do the film, then we bring our guys in, work them out, you know, and then Saturday, normally by 2 o'clock, we're usually done. And what I always try to do is give the coaches 24 hours. So if we leave at 2 on Saturday, we're going to come back at 2 on Sunday. And normally Saturday afternoon, I can kind of decompress. And this weekend, for sure, I'll put a game on TV and turn it down real low and probably sleep. So, but it's, you know, I've learned over the years, I don't take my football home anymore, you know, and you and I talked about that years ago when Matthew was playing. I never wanted to take my job to my house, and I'm not ever going to do that again.
One of your players overheard that question a while ago that we're about to interview, and he shook his head no. He's all football. So he gave the right coach's answer to you. You're giving the right answer back to him. So, well, there he is again, head coach Rodney, Southern Athletic Director. As always, appreciate your time, and good luck, Stingham Hornets.
All right, thanks.